Good Monday morning, everybody, and welcome back to another agent call review. If you guys are new here, my name is Ryan Valet, and I do an agent call review every single Monday in hopes to give everybody a little bit of insight as to maybe some different talk paths and also to help people hear maybe what you're doing wrong and also what you're doing right. It's really difficult in this business to know if what you're doing is right because you hear so many different things. I really do believe there are some very basic fundamentals that if you just get them down, you will absolutely crush this business. I actually came across a quote today that I feel is actually really fitting for this call and for every day for what I actually came across a quote today that I feel is very fitting for call reviews. And then on top of it, just in general, what we do every day, day in and day out. That is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Essentially, what that means is if you continue to do things wrong, you're not going to achieve excellence. Whereas if you continue to do what is right, and you continue to do that over and over again, then you know you will reach that excellence stage. So, like I say in every single call review, it is so important that you guys have somebody do this for you. Hopefully you've got a good mentor willing to listen to your calls on a regular basis because again, we can sometimes get lackadaisical. Sometimes we can have a bad day and that bad day can bleed over into the next day. Just like a bad call can bleed over into the next call. And today, the call that I'm going to be reviewing is just that. The agent kind of had a bad call before, maybe even a couple bad calls, and it bled over into this call. And he didn't even hear some of the things that the client was saying were cues that he was actually interested. And he ended up taking him as kind of a tire kicker and someone who really wasn't interested. So, also, we run an agency that is absolutely dedicated to doing whatever we can to make as many agents successful. We're a very tight knit group and we spend a lot of time training our agents. If that's something you're interested in or you just want to have a conversation, do us a favor, drop us an email at rycohaveitall@gmail.com and we'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. If you would, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment down below of what you think of the call. Maybe something that you feel that I missed or critiqued incorrectly. You know that you feel maybe I came down on them too hard. But every time I do these call reviews, it is not with any intention to bring someone down. Like I said, it's so important that you do what's right. And if you don't know that what you're doing is coming off in the wrong way, then how are you going to fix it? Anyway, guys, let's get into the call.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
good, good. I was calling you for our appointment today to go over final expenses.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. And just to verify, I've got your email address as Tom and a beneficiary.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and can you tell me roughly how long you've been looking into options?
Well, I just always thought about getting some more. I mean, I have some at my job and some I had bought when I was younger. With Universal Life with State Farm.
Oh, okay. You got a useful universal life when you were younger?
First thing to point out, this guy is talking about how he has basically believed in life insurance his whole life. So I really want you guys to take note of that and watch where the call goes as we go into this.
Yeah, I want me and the
Okay.
kid. Yeah,
Oh,
wife.
nice. Nice. Okay. And you said you have some through your work also, but I'm
Yeah,
sure that's probably going to stay with your work if you quit or
yeah,
retire.
yeah.
Okay, so obviously it wasn't a big deal for this guy, but a better way to position it is not to put it kind of in a negative context, meaning that's gonna, stay with work whenever you leave. A better way is just to ask them, get them to kind of talk about it and see if they actually know. So as far as your work coverage, that's great. I want you to know that work coverage is oftentimes the cheapest kind of coverage you can have. But do you know, will they allow you to take it with you whenever you leave the job? It's really important to ask it that way so that way they can walk themselves into the conclusion that they're going to lose it. And if you just assume that it's just going to leave, say they've got a government job. Oftentimes, a government job or teachers, depending on what their job is, those situations sometimes you have insurance that you can take with you, and it actually. I've talked to some teachers who leave with $10,000 in coverage and don't even pay anything for it. But if you just assume that they're going to lose it, and you find out that you've got a teacher on the line who actually is going to get to keep it and it's not going to cost them anything, then they correct you, you look like an idiot. Or it brings your status level down because you're making assumptions on their situation, and on top of making assumptions, you're wrong. Being wrong is not ideal in this situation. Again, you always want to remain as a professional who knows what they are doing. I would ask them, so do you know? Do you get to keep that coverage? And then let them tell you, no, yeah, that's going to go away whenever I leave. Oh, okay, okay. So is that kind of why you're looking into extra coverage? So that way you can make sure that you do leave something behind? So anyway, we'll get back into it.
I mean,
Okay. You were going to say something else?
no, that was it.
Okay. All right. And the universal life policy that you have is who, if you don't mind me asking, who's that through?
It's just my insurance. It's universal.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're ahead of the game and you've already got something in place. A lot of people end up not having any coverage, you know, especially when they start to get older. That's when something bad happens and then they decide that they could probably use some coverage. And by that time, coverage options start to get up there. Uh, you're not even that old yet, so that's not from what I'm seeing. You were born, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Soon to have a birthday here in a couple days. Happy birthday.
yeah.
Um, real quick, in case you missed.
So that's good, right? He kind of congratulated or gave him the early happy birthday. You want to really, I don't want to say butter up the client, but that's kind of what you're doing. People want to feel good about themselves. So when you're talking about them, and you want to make your client feel good about themselves. So that's a good thing. Now, another good thing that he's doing is he's telling him, "Okay, well, I'm glad to see that you're looking into getting more coverage. A lot of people wait until it's too late, and they wait until something actually happens, and now they can't get the coverage that they really want or need. So forth and so on. And that's perfect to let him know that it's a good thing that he's looking into it, that he's a smart guy." Now he goes into a little bit longer of an explanation than what I would recommend. Uh, Again, this guy already knows the importance of having coverage, so you don't want to drone on about it. And it wasn't bad, but it was just a little bit more lengthy than necessary. You can just tell him, look, so I'm really glad that you're looking into getting coverage because unfortunately, I deal with a lot of people who wait until it's too late. So I'm glad to see that it really is important to you.
And obviously, what I am is a licensed broker in the state, which gives me the option to shop all 39 to 45 companies and just get you qualified for the best rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Was there anything in particular recently that caused you to think, maybe I could use a little more coverage?
No, just everything going up. You can't have enough. Seem like now with. with
Yeah, that's
things
true.
going up to bury you, as well as, you know, something happened to me for as my wife and being, able to live.
Right? Makes sense. You're just concerned that, you know, they won't be able to afford it when the time comes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, so, having a universal life, typically those are, especially when you're younger, those are pretty decent sized policies. Um, how much coverage do you have there?
I think we got this 75,000
75. Okay. All right.
and 25 on.
Um,
And I put 25 on the kid when they were young.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's
Perfect opportunity to compliment the client. Again, man, you have done really well for yourself. Smart guy. It's great that you care about your family as much as you do. So really, I got to commend you on getting that much coverage, because a lot of people don't have that much. So you've done well for yourself, it sounds like, right? There ain't nobody who hates to get complimented. Now, as we get into it, this is where it starts to kind of go south, and the agent starts to take him as not interested and kind of kicking tires. Again, not bad to ask. So, what exactly has got you looking into it? As he starts to say that uh, funerals are going up and everything, I consider that a little bit of a missed opportunity to connect with the client of, oh, wow, yeah, couldn't agree more. The economy has been pretty rough here lately. I don't know about you, but groceries are so expensive. And you're right, funerals and stuff have went up over the years. I think the average funeral, if you go super cheap, very basic, it's like $12,000. You can kind of push on that a little bit, and it's just really important to really connect with the client in this situation, or where we're at in the call.
that's a decent sized policy to have for them. It'll build up over time as long as it's being funded right. That's the only issue I've ever seen with universal life policies is that the way the agent set them up initially, if they didn't set them up right, they can start eating away at themselves, and then you lose your policy. Not to say that I'm trying to talk bad about your policy by any means. Hopefully, you've kept an eye on it, and that's
Yeah,
not a problem at all.
it's okay.
Okay, so it
Yep, there he goes. This is where he starts to lose him. He's talking too much about his current policy. Let's get into what he actually wants. Again, I'm not saying that this guy could have been sold, but this guy clearly has the want. He's looking into it. And then on top of it, he already has insurance. So he understands that having insurance is important, and that it does leave, in this case, he's looking to leave a legacy, right? Like, I would ask him, so when it comes to getting extra coverage, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking to just leave extra money behind? Is that kind of your idea? Because you sound like the type that, you sound like a really great dad, great husband, in the fact that you care about what life is going to be like after you're gone, for your kids and those you leave behind. So what exactly was your thoughts, as far as getting extra coverage? And then you can find out, well, he saw some ad out there for 100,000 for $13 a month, and uh, it's a term, some sort of term ad, and he got it confused with hours, something of that nature. You can then really dig into where his mind is as far as getting extra coverage. Because if you find out those details and he's older, that that's not going to be possible. Now, it could be another thing of, hey, look, I just don't want to touch my universal life policy. All I want to do is get just enough to make sure that the burial is completely taken care of. And then once I've got that all completely taken care of, then they can have that entire 75,000 all to themselves. Great. Great. So we can absolutely take care of that, but he's getting into this into his current policy too much. You have to establish yourself as the authority figure and get down to business for what they requested the information for. Don't there's no need in coming off negative or talking bad about someone's current policy, and not that he was entirely talking bad about it. It kind of came off a little bit that way. Unless you're really going to try and replace that policy, you want to talk it up. And again, if he's had it for a long time, it's likely there is nothing that's going to make sense as far as replacing it. So there's no need to really talk about it. Now, at the end of the call, say you go through, you actually get him sold. Hey, look, Mr. Jones, as far as your UL, I want to offer my services to you. I'd be more than happy to review that policy just to make sure. There's two key things with the UL in this case. One, you want to make sure that it is for life and that it's not something that's going to stop at a specific age, because you don't want to outlive it and then not realize that you were going to outlive it. The other thing is you want to make sure that your policy is properly funded, right? If it's not properly funded, you could wind up losing it very quickly. So, are you interested in kind of taking a look at that? So that's when you start to talk about their current policy, not now while they're looking into extra coverage. Prove to them that you can do what you said you can do. Prove to them that you're going to get them the best policy for their money.
It is actually growing on you, and it's not.
Yeah,
You're not
growing.
dwindling down. Okay, good,
Mhm.
good. All right. So as far as getting this coverage, this would be specifically to take care of a burial for you, or are we looking at something to leave a little bit more money behind just in general?
I'm the guy. I'm going to see some pricing first. Then I would weigh my options.
Okay. Well, we really haven't gotten into anything about the coverage. What I'm trying to understand is your need for the coverage, because if you don't need it, then we're just going to be wasting each other's time. So,
I'm,
is
I'm,
this
so-
something that you feel like you need?
I, don't worry about it, man. I go somewhere else, man. I mean, if I want to call, I want to need it. I mean,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Again,
I just go somewhere else, man. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So, again, as you can hear, it went south because he was trying to get him to talk about his need. And as I stated before, he's already got the need. There's really no sense in pushing him to try and get more of a need out of him. He's already stating he wants to get more coverage. Again, he still could be looking for 100,000 for next to nothing, and you need to get that out. But since he was so focused on getting that need, and well, you gotta have a need in order for me to help you, that's what pushed the client away. I couldn't agree with the client more in this situation, because he was clearly stating, look, I filled out the form to get more information on what you can offer. If I didn't need it, I wouldn't have put that request in. I know some people do silly crap like that. They'll fill out a form just because it seems like fun. But all things considered, that clearly was not the case with this guy. So he was truly interested in getting the coverage. Again, you've got to find out whether you can actually help him or not, for what he's looking for. Always assume that the client has the need. Now, if he was being really difficult and, well, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to do that. I don't know why I got to give you all this information. If he's saying things like that, now he's a little bit more of a difficult type client. But like I said, the where the agent lost him is when he started talking or asking about the UL. He kind of went a little lengthy in a few explanations, and then really went south whenever he started talking about the need, and well, you got to have a need. Well, he clearly had a need. Anyway, everybody, that is a wrap for today's call. A little bit shorter one, but really some key points that I wanted to point out of where you don't want to miss the mark. In this case, he could have gotten right to business, within that 5 minutes and potentially just at least gotten a quote out to find out if he's got a reasonable expectation. Right? If you would, like I said before, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really helps me whenever you guys subscribe. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. So remember, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is a habit. See you in the next one, guys.